What's up, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an amazing week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, your shares. You're keeping this guy coming back and keeping this channel growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy your higher self has brought you here. You are in for an amazing journey. Now, what I'm going to be doing this week is a tarot card reading for the week of November 20th through the 26th. You didn't see that. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Ooh, the gems are happy to see you. It's a big old party here, Gemini. Now I'm going to be pulling 15 cards. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to represent the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right hand corners are going to be some future options that we're going to play around with. The bottom left will be some perspectives that might help assist you with the nature of the problem. And then finally, the bottom right will be whatever messages your higher self would like you to know. And in case you all were curious, I'm using Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The imagery on these cards are super cool, so I'll make sure to show those all throughout. And I've also included a link down in the description box with some of the decks that I like to use. So in case you want to get some of your own and pull with me, however you want to utilize that, Gemini, definitely take advantage of it. All right, but without further ado, higher self, what do we have in store for Gemini this week? Let me get your cards pulled, and then we will get to it. All right, Gemini. Okay. All right. Not bad at all. At least we're not repeating again. That was something last week, huh? Bam and bam. All right, Gemini. Let me get these cards kind of straightened up a little bit, and then we'll get started. Okay. All right. This is nice, Gemini. Okay. Yeah, I'm with this. Let's do it. So, for the nature of your problem this week, we have the 10 of Swords. And then the cards that came along with it are the Art card and the 7 of Swords. Now, I know how this guy looks. He always looks a lot more intimidating than what's actually going on here. Because with the 10 of Swords, this, yes, it says it's a card of ruin. But when it's talking about that, it's just what are the things that what have we been telling ourselves that haven't been serving us a purpose? You know, what is it that, because I feel like with this popping up, you know, because swords have to deal with intellectual matters. So I do feel like we've been kind of in our head, which totally makes sense. We were like, what, 5 of Cups 2 weeks in a row? But good news with this card is that one of the other meanings that it has is that it's spiritually, it's heralding the end of delusions. So I feel like this is, you're at the end of the stuff here. Of all the mental things, this is the last stop. So this is honestly, this is really good news here. You know, because I feel like we're getting to that realization, everything is finally starting to come together. We can make those steps to get out of our way, because this is the Sun in Gemini. So think about it as if you've been feeling like your head's been split all over the place. You know, like, not that your head's been split, but like your thoughts have been split all over the place. You know, think of this as a kind of just like a coming together, that aha moment of just like, right, okay, I've been kind of stuck in this loop for a little while. I see it now. I got eyes on it, and now I can start taking steps to move forward, to kind of get back on track and start doing some good old manifesting again, because that's what the Art card is about. It's about doing that manifestation, you know, coming to, you know, you might have been in a tight jam, you know, we've been bobbing and weaving, you're trying to calculate getting your way out of here, and we've done it. And now we can get to this place where we can just start, just start creating again. Because maybe this, I feel like, when we're in energies like this, really kind of in our head, bringing our self-esteem down, it's kind of really destructive times, maybe not in the like physical, like you would expect from like a Mars retrograde, where you might kind of have that knee-jerk reaction. I had mentioned a story to another sign. I had a tendency back in the good old days where if I responded, I'd punch holes in walls. We're not talking about it, but no, we've evolved from it, and that's where I feel like this is. You're coming out of that. You're getting into this thing. And I feel like, from this destruction, some really nice creation is going to start manifesting. This is going to be a good time. I will say, when with the Seven of Swords popping up, I will say, because normally this is my card of burnout here. And I only would even mention burnout just because I know sometimes when we do get out of these energies, once we've had that epiphany and know we're like, we're getting back on track, we're ready to like just fill our plates back up again. Like, okay, I'm so behind, I'm gonna tackle this, and this, and let's go get it. And I love that enthusiasm, Gemini. Definitely keep that high. But just make sure that ease back into it. This has been a very, for some, I feel like this could have been a very vulnerable time for you. So definitely take this time and make sure that you're healed properly. Maybe instead of starting off with all 6 swords at once, maybe start with 1. And if you're feeling really good, maybe this wasn't as heavy. Depending on the degree. Feel it out. Maybe we can tackle 2, but I definitely want to make sure that we're just kind of getting, we're easing back into this, into this rhythm here. Because if you take on too much too soon, I feel like that's a good recipe to get right back to here. Because you'll be feeling hot, and then something might happen, and then we're 5 of Cups again, and we don't want 5 of Cups again, at least for a little while. I feel like we got the lessons from that. Now let's go move to some future stuff here. Because on the upper left-hand corner, you have the Universe, the 7 of Wands, and the 2 of Swords. Now with the Universe, I feel like this is again, now that we're in this manifesting time, we're getting back on track. I feel like this is a good time to just start kind of reestablishing your universe again. Kind of see where, if we have like a vision board, if you got like a list, however you map out your goals, let's maybe get back to that list. See where, maybe do some editing. Because maybe when we made it, we might have been in this headspace. I'm not sure how those energies will interfere in that. So I say let's just take a second, just kind of reevaluate, see what's been working with us, what hasn't been. We're getting ready to, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but we're getting ready to come up on the new moon here soon. So this is a good time, I feel like, if you're going to plant some good seeds and really kind of figure out what you want your universe to paint now that you're out of this. Let's take this time, while we're resting, kind of getting back into this thing, let's start mapping out some details. And I feel like with the 7 of Wands coming up, this really kind of, I don't want to say it will double down, but it will kind of help, like, when you're going about tackling these things, how I was saying, maybe tackle 1 sword at a time. Some of you might have been like, well, Justin, I could take 6, hell, 7 swords at a time if I really, really feeling it. But what I feel with this 7 of Wands is that, in taking those small steps, and taking the strides that you want to take, don't expect that big win right off the bat. I feel like this is, or not even to not expect it, but just to appreciate the little wins that are leading up to this big art card here, to your ultimate manifestation there. And that's all that I feel like for some. This is kind of take that as it resonates, because normally this is my card of like, having the courage to meet challenges. And this could be, that can definitely apply too. If we're, some might be maybe a little more kind of apprehensive to start than others. So that could be a thing too. If you're feeling that energy where you think you're back on track, but you just like, there's still that doubts of like, am I at this place? I know Justin said we're going to do this one thing, but 5 of Cups, don't let the trauma of the past, kind of deter you from making your next step. Use that as the strength, because that's what these cards are, like these mindfulness cards, strengths waiting to be discovered. So definitely use that as a means to tackle that if we aren't feeling that courage to tackle things. Because ultimately you're going to get to that peace, that balance. Because the Two of Swords is a card of, really, now this is the moon in Libra here, but I really more so feel like this is you just kind of, everything's just kind of coming to peace again. We've been going through those tough times, struggling and all that, and now we're back to being able to deal with that duality again of life, that positive and that negative. And I feel like once you get that peace, it's really going to kind of lead over to this right hand side over here. Because let's check out this future over here. Hopefully that Two of Swords made sense. I know I kind of breezed through that one, but there was yeah, you got your point across. Well, holler if you got any other things. But I really, I feel like when we get that peace, it's going to lead over to this future option over here where we have the Star, the Nine of Wands, and the Fortune. Because look at this, Gemini. Look at this energy is really, what a shift. We really are starting to, I feel like really starting to turn that corner. Because with the Star is a card of hope. And again, another card of like of that realization, that spiritual clarity. And I feel like with some of this too, maybe we've had some assistance, because this is a card too can represent of unexpected help. So maybe if we're getting close to here, because you've seen this now, Gemini. Consider this your first step to getting out of this mentality here, and maybe if this is something, depending on the degree, if this is heavier than what I'm even picking up here, it might be a good thing too to maybe just like look for, to maybe seek some help. This isn't medical advice, but I'm more so thinking about, maybe reaching out to your inner circle there to kind of help you keep your spirits uplifted. Because I'm really feeling with, you got some energy here. I feel like there's going to be this revitalization coming within you. Because with the Knight of Wands, normally this is another one of my kind of like Seven of Swords, it's like a recovery card. But I really am feeling with this one more so here that there's going to be this great force coming out of here. Just because of how the nature of your problem is shifting. Because I feel like there's going to be this aha, this epiphany moment coming that's going to really start helping you crank out some stuff, and you're really gonna, I'm feeling like a really prolific time coming up for you, Gemini. Because check it out, you got the Fortune here, and with the Fortune, this is a card of not just good fortune, but of like, I feel like a realization of your destiny. So it may not reveal itself quite in its entirety right off the bat. We still, because remember, we're over here, we're still trying to paint that big picture here. We're still trying to manifest those things. But I do feel like while you're taking these steps with all these major arcanas popping up, your higher self is working behind the scenes. It sees your work, and I feel like it's compensating. It's one of those things. All right, there we go. Gemini's back on track. There you are. Yeah. Yeah. Your higher self, well, I know that's how my higher self can be sometimes. It can be a little obnoxious, but it's just because they're so excited, because this is going to be one of those things where you're going to finally get that fulfillment again. Because let's talk about some perspectives, because these are really nice too. This is really nice. Check this out. You got the Nine of Cups here, you got the Two of Cups, and then you have the Queen of Swords. Now with this Nine of Cups here, this is exactly what I was talking about with this Fortune here. I really feel like you are, and with this Fortune too, before we get into all this happiness that you've just produced, with this Fortune, I do feel like, again, this is something that you're doing, and that's the really nice thing about this. And I really want to emphasize that celebration of these victories, and whatever that, and however that manifests, because it's going to lead to this ultimate thing. And I do feel like there's just going to be just this really nice feeling of just like your heart's going to feel a lot lighter. Things are just going to start, you'll be able to just take that, like, You know, that type of feel, that like you can finally relax a little bit. The head's not feeling as chaotic. You know, the cups are starting to abundance, and the fulfillment is starting to flow again. Things are starting to get real nice, and that's because you've worked on yourself. Because with the Two of Cups, this is my card of love and compassion, but really just of like compassion for yourself. This really kind of is another, so this is like a low-key self-care card here. This is Venus in Cancer. And I talk about this. I laugh because the Venus. Every time I think of Venus, I think about me and my girl, the Empress. And I do feel like with this energy here, just remember, to just constantly, pour love into yourself. Make sure to try to bring ourselves up, because I do feel like with this Ten of Swords, we've been in this for a minute. We've come to we had to go through the whole thing, but we're at the finish line there. And then this is what's gonna get. This is a lovely reward right here. This is the trophy that I know I would want sitting on my mantle. That win of just like, I've taken care of myself, and now I can go out and pour all that fortune and all this hope and all this energy manifestation. And you're going to come at it with some clarity, because that's what the Queen, you've got so much clarity, Gemini. I do, I mean, if I had to just put a word on this whole thing, it's just epiphany. Because I do feel like that's what the Queen of Swords is about. She's the liberator of the minds. She's taken any kind of Ten of Swords, Seven of Swords, you even got you can't see him because he's buried under here, but even the Devil, and we're going to talk about him in a second. But even with the Devil, it's like, you're taking, think of this head as morbid as it sounds, but stay with me. Imagine this head. This is the wisdom that you've gotten from your lessons, and now you can sit up top on your cloud again, your cloud or your throne of clouds, and now you can see everything again. There's not this. You're not being covered by all this cloud fog anymore. The sun has come in, and now we can see things clearly. So I really do feel like, if we're not there yet, Gemini, stick strong, because you're really coming up on this. I say keep that momentum, keep that energy, and check it out. Your higher self might agree, because there he is, that good old Devil. But we also have the Priestess and the Princess of Disc. So this is a nice little ending here, Gemini, because with the Devil, and I've noticed that not even just with how I pitch him, but I feel like the Devil's starting to get a better rep again. He's still a card of addiction, a card of overindulgence. That doesn't change the nature, but it does. How we approach him can change how we, look at all these new perspectives that you got, Gemini. Treat him like a bud. We had a very awkward moment. Well, I don't know if you call it awkward, but we had a moment in last week with Virgo stuff that really kind of bonded us. But he's my card. Let me tell you what he's about. What else he's about? Because he's a card of with having to deal with those overindulgence, those addictions, those blind impulses. Those things all take strength, and I feel like that's what the Devil is there to remind us. That even when we get into those where we get into moments of self-doubt and all those things, you could get addicted to that too, in a sense. You get on that weird spiral, and the next thing you know, he's at your door again. But I feel like it's remembering that when you've been in that moment, when you've conquered it like you have here, or as you're conquering it now, remember the strength and stuff that you employed while you were doing that, because those tools, those coping skills that you've either gained or that you refined, those are going to serve you great. And that's nothing, there's nothing that the Devil wants more than to see how you grow and to keep that consistent strength going, not to just get it and then just be done. He's there to constantly push us, and it can come across as a little annoying, but look at his face. He's smiling. He's got his third eye. He sees what this situation is going to be. So don't let that deter you. Don't let that just remind you that right, when the Devil comes, yeah, I got this, because I'm a priestess. And the Priestess is about being able to deal with the fluctuations of life. She's represented by the moon. And if you think about how the moon travels, it's changing its phases all the time, traveling through, it goes through each of the signs in 30 days. I mean, mean, that's a lot of just like constant adjustment going on here. And I do feel like how I was talking about with the devil, how, you know, he might throw curveballs at you along the way, and life in general, you know, being able to flow in that with that priestess energy to, you know, as things, because here's the thing, we might not be able to necessarily like control what's happening to us, but we can control how we can react. And that's going to help shape our, because I even how I changed the verbiage here with the future, it's like, you know, it used to be, oh, let's see what we're going to consider. It's like, no, what are we going to play around with? Because we can do that. The beautiful thing about the future is it hasn't happened, and we can paint this picture in our present, and that's what the priestess is doing. You know, she's being proactive, not reactive, and that's where I feel like we're gonna need to be. Because again, you got some really good stuff coming. I feel like you're getting ready to, especially with this fortune, universe, art, hope, all this major stuff here. Take all this energy, this happiness, this compassion, and because that's what Princess of Disc is all about. She's taking all this energy here because she's just pregnant with life, and she wants to take this barren grove back here, and she wants to just flood it with love and just all this energy that you brought, Gemini. This she's like, you were to bring this up to her and be like, yo, what can you do with this? She's like, everything. I'm going to pour this energy into the scepter here, feed it to the ground, and I don't know if you can see where the ground is lit up, because let me tell you, girl is lit. She's, hold on, Gemini, because now we're let's switch back over and let's bring this home, because now we're getting turned up. Prince, bring it home, girl. Princess of Disc. Yeah, I feel like with this, have that enthusiasm that I just brought. If you, as you're going through this, you know, once you find that inspiration, I do feel like you're going to get ready to manifest something incredible, something wonderful. And remember that it's not just honestly, not just an everyday battle, but an every moment battle. You know, it's a constant. It's a constant, you know, having to adjust and all those things. But I do feel like you absolutely have the strength, Gemini. Just keep that mentality, you know, keep your hopes high. Keep your hopes high, and everything's just going to be lovely. So I like that. Hopefully that made sense for you. If you like that, please, if you subscribe, like, share, do all those YouTube things. And for just a clear picture of you, you know, if you did, which it looks like you have all the clarity that, you know, the universe has to offer, but, you know, feeling a little greedy, want a little bit more. I'm not calling you greedy, I'm just kidding. You know, check your moon, check your rising. And this week we're checking, oh, where'd you go? How lucky for you. We're checking our Jupiter this week. Justin, why do you think we're checking our Jupiter this week? Because it's coming up in Celestial News Weekly. That's why. But this is, oh, Gemini. Let me tell you, this is going to be a really good time. This is going to be a good time for everyone. But I feel like with what you just brought me, this news is going to be a really good one for you. So let's just get into it. That wasn't the transition that I wanted. That definitely could have been smoother. But I got amped, and you'll see why. Because on the 22nd, we're moving into Sagittarius season officially. The sun is entering Sagittarius, and this is a time to open our hearts to all the opportunities that the world has to offer. You're going to be feeling more optimistic, and this is a time to really, and I'd really like to really emphasize and make the most of this optimism. You know, instead of focusing on what you can't do, let's focus on what we can do, because that's, you know, if you sit around and kind of get into that thing like, oh man, well, I want to do this, but I can't do this, can't do that, can't do that. It's like, well, hold on. Okay, we know your weaknesses, but we can work on those. Okay, put those on a list. Those are things that we can work out. What strengths do we have? How can we get unique? How can we play around with this? You know, because again, make your energy work for you. Make your strengths work for you. And you know what? Again, this will bring me nicely into this because on the next day, on the 23rd, there's going to be a new moon in Sagittarius. This is what I was talking about earlier. And this is again about, taking those seeds of optimism and planting those, and then taking the lessons that we got from 2 weeks of Five of Cups and finishing it up with the Ten of Swords, and visualizing a bigger, brighter, more fortunate future filled with happiness. You know what I'm about to do. I need 6 arms. You might need 6 arms too, because guess what else has happened on the 23rd? Jupiter's going direct, and that's why we're checking our Jupiter this week, because this is going to be an auspicious time, because Jupiter is the planet of positivism, of fortune, of hope, of expansion. And so this is going to be a time, just really make the most of this energy, because I do, every time I talk about it, it's almost similar to how I was like kind of on one with the new moon, with the total lunar eclipse. There's something really big happening here with this energy too. I do feel like there's a lot of goodness coming from this, because Jupiter's in Pisces, so it'll be going direct in Pisces, or at least it should be in Pisces for a little bit longer. And also Neptune is in Pisces. And I say bring those up just because those are both of Pisces' rulers right there. And you got all this stuff, all this big stuff happening in, all these dignified things in their place. It's just Gemini. You see, I'm losing it. This is yeah, I really feel like this energy is not just at this day. It's going to feel like it's just going to be ramping up into getting into the new year. And I know with Mars retrograde, it may feel like things have kind of slowed down, but with Mars retrograde, it's just about working with the energy. It's not about working harder through it. It's about working smarter. Because if something doesn't feel like, if you're getting a lot of resistance from something and it's just like not raising your vibration like it should, with the retrograde going on, it might, again, just need to set it aside, or it might need to maybe eliminate it altogether. Feel that as you will. But I just want to make sure that, because even when I was kind of writing up this stuff for the news, it gave me chills. So definitely try to make the most of this as you can, and feel this energy out as you will. All right, let's get into some aspects so I can get you a surprise card. So the sun is going to be trine Jupiter. Jupiter's on one, in the best possible way. And this is like shining a light on abundance and opportunity. The energy is just full of optimism and enthusiasm. So this is one of those, this is where I do like that this is the nature of your problem, because look at this. Look at what's coming. It's not even like, now I have it's like I have proof. It's like Gemini. I know I could say it's like, you're going to work through this, you'll get over this. But look, the universe is going to help you work through this too. The planets are going to help you work through this. So let's make the most of that energy. Let's use and some crystals to utilize with this energy. Good old sunstone. And I don't have one here, but a yellow sapphire is going to be another crystal that you can work with to kind of help assist with this energy. Next, you have the Mars. Mars is going to be squared with Neptune. And with this, action kind of combines with idealism. Now, this is a kind of a tricky energy, because you got the goals kind of become unclear, but when used in a positive way, these whatever we have, whatever we're trying to bring to fruition will flourish, but it's about finding that, which for you, I don't think that's going to be that hard, because you have so much clarity. But it is, having that goal in mind, and then making sure that we're being intentional with how we're utilizing our energy, and keeping that positivity, and keeping that, and it's not to ignore any negative things. It's to just right now, how can we utilize that energy to better serve us a purpose? And some good crystals to work with that would be either a ruby or a celestite. Now, the last thing is you have Mars trine with Saturn. And with this energy, it's going to be kind of difficult to get things done, although the projects are going to be a little more grounded in reality. So this is where I was kind of talking about, and it's like that's kind of a weird one to end on, but I just wanted to show that contrast that, sure, this is going to be a very good, positive, overall positive time, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be work still that's going to need to be had. But it's going to be one of those things, as long as we're staying grounded, maybe not over idealizing things, being practical in our approaches and being, again, mindful with how we're doing things. If we persevere, kind of really work with these energies, I feel like you're going to have something that's going to build a long lasting impact. So yeah, just mindfulness. I can't emphasize that enough. I feel like, especially with this time, let's be very intentional how we're manifesting, and let's put some really good vibrations out there and just raise that stuff up past the roof. Let's raise that up to that vibration at least to the sky. Let's just have at it, Gemini. And the good crystals to work with are going to be ruby and an onyx. So that's the news. That's what I got for you. That was nice, Gemini. I like that reading. Let me get you your surprise card so I can get you. Yes. Gemini. Look at this. The Eon card. This is a card of... Okay, a couple of things. This is a card of resolutions. And I feel like this is what is resolving. We're putting that to a close. The Eon card is like, oh, and that was a little, no fighting. The Eon card is about, that things are just coming to a resolution. And I feel like this, again, this is what's coming to a resolution. This destructive thinking, we're getting past it. Now we can. I'm just like, it just blew my mind, Gemini. Just because this is great. And last thing with this card, this is a card of definitive action. So now that we've got a lovely end to this chapter, now we can start a brand new beginning. We can usher in a new eon. We can take this expansive energy of Jupiter, and just shape your world however you like, Gemini. I love that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. If you like to, because guess what? This guy's on Facebook now. So if you're on Facebook, and I'm going to be expanding my social media technical problems, I'll get it all figured out. But I am officially on Facebook, so follow me there if if that's how you social media. You can tell I need to get it together. Nature of my problem. Gemini, go out there, be safe, keep raising that vibration, and I will catch you on the next one later.